way Chris spoke, and when it's everybody and their brothers. It's just they're sitting and he put on his stand and they find many others.
That's not how I do it.
No.
It's not fun.
Yeah, thanks.
You just muted the room.
6 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order. Stop for the pledge of allegiance.
Hello?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Thank you. All right, so the first thing on here is to approve the warrant for the general fund, water and sewer, which is all part of the warrant article. So,
Yes. There's two budget items. The budget's in there. There's the approved budget from the budget committee, the 4,600,000 and so on thousand. And the 4,300,000 is the default budget. If the budget fails to pass, we do not have or schedule a special meeting.
Did Steven sign in?
Stephen, are you
I
online?
am.
He's the telephone number.
Okay,
Hi, Stephen.
so, all right, so, we're looking for a vote as to recommend or not.
It's just a straight up or down vote, no
Yeah.
promotion.
So, I vote yes.
I
Yes.
vote.
Yeah. Okay, 3 yeses. Water and sewer, yes.
Stephen,
No.
yes.
2 yeses, 1 no.
Mhm.
What's that?
Who voted no?
Steve,
We voted yes the other night.
authorize improvements for water system, is that the other one? No, it's that's the next thing on the agenda.
Yeah.
And that is to complete the
The work that's been started with the link
Yeah.
into the lake, and then it's all the other links in between, plus the get rid of the leaded lines in the downtown area and in various couplings. Just
Okay.
want to make sure people understand there are some lead pipes, those are residential service lines. The service lines and the main lines that the water system owns
Yeah.
are leaded, that meaning they can contain some lead content. They are not lead pipes, they're just the fittings. Whatnot.
So yes,
Yes.
3 yeses.
Hey, Stephen, so we don't speak over each other. You wanna vote before me, like go Scott, you, me, so we don't speak over, is that all right with you?
That's fine.
Okay.
Sorry.
No worries, me as well, yeah.
All right, Article 5, purchase equipment to outfit police cruisers. Now, that's the 2 cruisers that have been ordered and we're still waiting on.
This is some updates to the cruisers that we have,
All right,
plus other equipment, plus the new cruisers.
so there was money encumbered for this, but
Yes.
this is,
This is to take care of the police car that's later in the listing.
yeah,
And also take care of some of our other stuff.
okay,
So it is partially some of the encumbered and partially not.
so yes,
Yes,
Yes.
So much for that plan.
yeah, it's all right, we'll do it that way.
Sorry, I misunderstood you. I thought I was going last, Dan.
Let's do it like that, yeah. Yeah, we'll do.
All right.
Scott.
We'll do it by seniority.
Yeah, that's nice.
Purchase of fire turnout gear.
The reason it says 10 or more is the price has been, I'll say fluctuating. We might be able to get 12. We'll definitely be able to get at least 10, so. I was asked to leave it as a or more.
So yes,
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 Article 7, purchase of police cruiser.
I have a question on that one.
Okay,
Is it the 2024? That's only 3 years old. It's unit number 115. I just want to make sure we're talking about the same piece.
It is unit 115.
And is that a 2020 Ford or not?
It is a 2020 Ford, but it's getting up to the end of its lifespan in terms of mileage.
and is that the one that the CIP recommends is in succession, or is that something that the police, that chief has said?
The
this is
CIP
what-
recommended number 115 be replaced this year.
yes,
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 Article 8, purchase heavy duty pickup. That's for,
That is replacing John Coffey's
okay,
truck.
so this is a used vehicle.
Yes, this will not be a brand new vehicle at all.
Yes,
I have a question on that.
correct.
So if we vote on this, or this article reads that, so that means there's no option for a van, there's no option for a box van, there's no option for a small all-wheel drive van. The only option at this point is to replace it with a 3/4 ton pickup truck.
This says purchase or replacement for
Yeah, we
the
can,
GMC.
yeah,
With a similar vehicle.
similar, yeah, we could
So
ban,
similar meaning something that foots the bill for that department?
correct.
It just says replacement, doesn't it? I don't see it somewhere.
It says in,
No, somewhere it just says replacement.
with
No,
a similar vehicle.
Oh, I thought that was, oh, there it is, okay.
Yes, a similar vehicle will be a similar.
Something that
A
suits
weight,
his
a weight,
needs.
I take it to be weight class, that's a 1
Okay.
ton. You know, if we can find a nice used one with a utility body, great.
Right, that's
Van.
what I'm saying.
Okay,
Just nice.
2,500 is a 3/4 ton, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is, and okay, that answers my question.
So I voted yes.
Yes,
yes,
Replacement for backhoe. So my question on this was, I thought we were gonna keep the old backhoe.
We may be keeping it, it depends on how much, that's why it's just, it's gonna be replaced. With a similar piece. It
It
needs to be,
says at the end here, any trade in value or proceeds from the sale of the backhoe is to be applied to reduce the purchase price.
yes, if we don't trade it in, there'll be no trade-in or no additional price.
Right.
The hope is that we'll be able to do some work on it. Keep it, I'll say, going. Its main use would be in the pit or something like that. Some marginal use on the road at times. And to be replaced with something a little more efficient for doing,
I thought
Ditching.
Bob had said primarily for the transfer station as well.
yeah,
So. Well, the way this is, I mean. So we don't have to trade it in?
we do not have to trade it in.
Yes,
hey, my other concern, based on what Scott is saying, is, we keep just throwing this equipment in there, and even though we say we're not gonna, we still have to maintain it, and we're getting a lot of equipment, it seems like, that we're not, we're replacing equipment, and we're not necessarily getting rid of the old stuff.
Stephen, I agree with you, at least in part. I think that the amount of repairs that will be required to make it even marginally useful on a temporary basis someplace will be outweigh its real value. And we will be kissing it goodbye.
Well, Stephen, I understand what you're saying, and I think what I'm hearing is, we keep the backhoe and we pay for the repairs on it, but then we get an updated or a new piece of equipment and we have to now do the maintenance on that.
Yeah.
But my thoughts are the maintenance on a new piece of equipment are substantially less money than repairs on an old piece of equipment that keeps breaking. And the benefit that we get from that new piece of equipment should pay for those maintenance costs. And I say that based on my experience with the equipment that I own myself. My old backhoe, I have to work on, I don't get a heck of a lot of use out of it. My new Kubota, I maintain it with some grease and some oil, and I use it every time I touch the key. I don't know if that helps with your question at all, Stephen, or whatever, but, because I
Right, but
understand what you're
I
saying.
think his point is, does the amount of use it's gonna get weigh the time it takes to do the repairs?
So,
And where do we make that decision of keeping it a viable piece of equipment and, or just keep throwing money at it, even though it's not getting a lot of use? I mean, it's no good to us just sitting there broken. So you either got to make the decision that you're going to fix it, and you're going to take money away from other pieces of equipment that we're using all the time. So I get that a new piece of equipment has less maintenance, but
Yeah.
the point is we want to maintain them and keep them in good condition. So
I understand.
My thought on this, and it's got really nothing to do whether we vote on this or not, but the fact
Right.
that if it gives us a substantial trade-in value, we trade it in.
Oh, we kiss it goodbye, yeah, right away, yeah.
I guess that I would agree that that's where we kind of lean people towards seeing what the trade-in value is. But I don't think the trade-in value is gonna be that much.
Well, let's just
But
do
we
it.
can,
Yeah.
right? So, no, good call, fellas. And I understand what you're saying now,
All
Steve.
right, so we
I
got
agree.
2 yeses. Are you voting yes or no, Steve?
yes, I am.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yes, you're voting yes or no?
Yes, I'm voting yes.
Okay.
Jeez.
Replacement for bulldozer.
The bulldozer at this point, needs so many repairs and is obviously 70, almost 50 years old.
Yeah.
It has literally scrap value is,
So here's, just to have the dialogue on it, this is where I lean towards this, like with the backhoe. The bulldozer gets virtually no use.
Yeah.
We have other pieces of equipment that we can scrape the top of the ground off so we can get to the material that's under it. If we end up getting a new excavator, we're gonna have a ditching bucket on that literally is designed to take the top layer of earth off so you can get to what's under it. So, I'm not a fan of the backhoe, so. I mean,
So the bulldozer?
with that,
Bulldozer.
or
Yeah.
bulldozer, sorry.
I mean, this bulldozer was bought for cheap,
Yeah.
and it was old when we got it.
yeah.
Yeah,
So, and I don't know that I've ever even seen it out on the road anywhere, so.
it stays in.
Yeah, so as far as I would agree, I would say no on this one.
So I'm gonna say no.
Who knows? I'm saying no as well.
Replacement for Ford F-150 for the cemetery department.
This is
Yeah.
Barry's truck that was pulled off the road the other day and plates were removed and.
So that, I don't know if this is,
Go ahead.
I think this is the technical thing, but it probably should read correctly, is the truck that he has been using. Is a GMC 1500,
No, it says Ford 150.
Yes.
Right,
okay, all
but
right,
the truck he's been using is not a Ford F-150.
No,
His personal truck was a Ford F-150.
this is not his personal truck. This is a truck that's, I misspoke. The truck that we're using is in the back and not no longer used. This is a truck that previously was under use.
2 trucks ago,
Yeah,
right?
2 trucks ago, yes.
Okay, understood.
Sorry.
And then he got the truck that he's recently been using is actually a highway department old
Yeah.
throwaway, correct?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
So,
In reality, what are we gonna be able to get for $10,000 in the truck market, though? That's,
A maintenance issue.
And well, actually, that's why it says in many cases, similar vehicle, we may conjoin things and he may get an additional hand-me-down from something else, so.
okay,
so yes,
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 Article 12, replacement for skid steer loader.
This is JR's loader that's
Okay,
slowly dying.
so,
so my question is, with some of the proposed changes that we're looking at with the transfer station, will a skidder still be necessary?
yeah, I think it will. You're still gonna have the metal pile to deal with, they're gonna push that up, you're still gonna have
so,
equipment to move.
Yeah,
right, I think they use that now. To push snow around and move snowbanks, and they
Yeah,
use it to
yeah.
scrape back the metal pile, but. The thoughts that we have discussed is. I think the metal pile may end up being. A different configuration, and if we end up going with. 3 open top bins. To accept the metal when people bring it in, instead of just throw it on one big pile on the ground and mix the dirt in with it. Then the skid steer won't be used for that as much. I don't think it hurts to have it over there, but I'm not sure that it's gonna be, it will be used, but not as relied on, I think. If that's my thoughts on talking
So
to,
I'm gonna go back to my question, is there a better piece of equipment than a skid steer for what we're looking at doing or potentially doing?
yes, we could, that's why it says similar equipment, we could purchase a tractor or, a small loader or whatever we,
So just because it's listed as a skid steer, we don't have to necessarily purchase a skid steer?
no, we do not.
right, similar piece, right, which I understand that, I.
And certainly like the skid steer does not, loader, the one that's there now, does not get, I'll say, full-time use or a substantial amount of use. We may want to buy,
Okay.
that can be, I'll say, shared,
Sure. Yep.
among several agencies and several departments. And,
Well,
and
Ready
that
to vote?
also,
Frankly, if the plan in the future. After March 11th. Is to redo the transfer station, I think it is kind of foolish to be purchasing equipment. Now. Until we know exactly what that's gonna cost and see what we are gonna need.
So that's my.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts too. That money could be very put to much better use potentially, depending on which way, if any. But I'm pretty confident that something's going to happen with the transfer station. What it is,
But the problem is if we don't vote to take it out of capital reserve now, it won't be available to us this coming year.
yeah. Yeah, and there's no obligation to expend the money. We can sit and hold.
Ellie,
Yeah, I don't believe there is such a thing as a transfer station capital reserve fund. There's a transfer station special revenue fund. But there is, I couldn't find one in the town report, and I think the titles on a lot of these things are messed up, and I would want to consult an attorney or one of the trustees of the trust funds to see if these are legitimately written. Because some of these are written with titles that don't exist as far as I can find records.
which one besides that?
This is equipment that's in the CIP that there's a capital reserve fund for.
There's no cemetery capital reserve fund.
There is not, but there is a vehicle in the cemetery fund that's in the CIP, Ellie.
I
right,
know that, but that doesn't mean you can't, the CIP can't create a capital reserve fund.
But we're putting money into it for that piece of equipment.
What do we have to create? You can't take money out of a fund that doesn't exist.
Most of these names were taken out of prior town reports.
I think there's a cemetery equipment fund. which is
Right.
like-
All right, I will,
Alex correct, that applies to the transfer station, cemetery, EMS. And in order to have a CIP account, capital reserve account, it has to have specific voter approval to set it up.
Yeah.
And EMS is, it's,
Is the expert.
the EMS is a separate account, it's a non-lapsing, it's an enterprise account, so it's not like the general fund. Cemetery is a general fund, so you can't use it as any type of vehicle to reserve money. Water and sewer is an enterprise account, so you can use it to reserve money.
There are some other funds that you might be able to tap, like the Mildred Nixon Fund, but that's only for Wells Cemetery, only for things in Wells Cemetery. I was a cemetery trustee for 8 years, so I do know a little bit. And there are some other ones here too. I couldn't find a fire department, equipment capital reserve fund. I just might be looking in the wrong place.
Well, I think it's equipment. I'm not sure it defines whether it's mobile equipment or non-mobile equipment.
And I couldn't find water and sewer capital reserve fund either. Now,
So-
that's a
So,
separate fund that might be somewhere else.
so aren't those other pieces listed under either a mobile or a non-mobile equipment in the capital? reserve
Everything
fund?
in the non-mobile equipment, like the turnout gear,
Yeah,
is in the general fund. There's a schedule when it's supposed to be in the general fund, and unless the budget has changed significantly in the last 30 days, there's money in there. So I'm sorry, but it's a double dip. I mean, if you've got the turnout gear, for instance, in the general fund, and now you're gonna take it out of the unassigned fund balance and put it into a capital reserve account
Yeah.
or spend it, you can, but you're double dipping. And the same thing is true. I mean, you've got a very specific layout of equipment for vehicles.
Mhm.
And now you're building a new one.
Right.
So it does not fit, okay? And frankly, when you get to the bottom line, it's 650,000 to come out of the unassigned fund balance, and somebody ought to look at that.
Yeah, Mike brought up a good point, because this happened once before with a dump truck for the highway department in a warrant article that failed. And there was another one in the operating budget, and according to what the attorneys told us, is that, so if this turnout gear in here fails, you can't take it out of the general fund and buy it for the same thing, right, Mike?
Yeah,
There is a fire department
That's
capital
what they
reserve
think.
fund though.
there is. You gotta check with Cindy. I believe it's just for trucks. And mobile equipment.
All right, so you're gonna have to get that.
I will get the titles fixed, yes.
And then the few other ones.
But I
adjusted.
personally would be uncomfortable with approving a budget, a general fund budget. That has the money in the general fund budget and then approve a separate warrant article to spend spend an additional amount of money for the same thing, but that's personal. I mean,
Right. I agree. I was gonna say, unless you can specify that they're two separate things,
they're not.
yeah.
I can delete the article if you choose.
Well, you got another hearing coming up on Thursday.
Oh, that's another good point, Mike, while we're on the subject. So what happens if we have a default budget? Can you do it? Is the turnout gear in the default?
The turnout gear would more than likely not be in because it's a single time
Okay.
payment.
Yes,
So if we have a default budget in that area of the account, it would be okay.
Yeah, we would not be permitted to expend that money.
But we wouldn't be double dipping in that case. Okay,
All right, so let's hold off on 12 and 11. That was the two you talked about.
Yes,
And the turnout gear. Double check on
and I
that.
will check on that one to make sure that it's the correct title for the reserve account.
So
And
that-
reserve account, and that it's not already reflected in the general budget.
All right. So Article 13 is purchase and close trailer for fire department UTV.
And this is not in the capital plan. This is a written petition from the
so,
fire service.
oh, okay. Anything that's petition should be noted in.
It's
there.
not petition.
Oh, I see what you mean, but you mean the department has asked for it.
The department had asked for it, we put it in. Yeah,
So,
it says by petition, but it's not.
Okay, I will strike that.
So to go back to the other, just so I can get a little better understanding of what we're talking. I've got a copy of the CIP in my hand, and really this is so I can learn this process a bit more. But I see that there is a non-mobile assets and mobile assets for the fire department.
Non-mobile is purely in the general fund.
Right,
Mobile is in capital reserve.
It's not a capital reserve.
Yeah, it's not.
Understood. Okay,
So like radios and all that crap, general fund.
okay,
Cruisers,
you guys. can
capital
change
reserve.
okay,
All the stuff that happens is on that page.
okay.
So unless there was something new created last year,
There was
there was
What page is that?
page,
34.
yeah, 34 and 35. I mean, you should check these titles before you write anything.
Ellie, I did. I checked the prior town reports.
I mean, I think most people understand what you mean, but I don't, like I said, I don't know how specific you have to be. I thought I heard from Cindy that you have to use the exact title that they have on the account. Otherwise, it's not posted.
I would just say that I recall getting some emails fairly lately that had to be readjusted because they weren't quite accurate either. So mistakes do happen, and I would think that we would be appreciative of that, Ellie, right?
Oh, well, you should in this case, because you don't just now.
Right.
I understand, but I don't think we need to be,
Don't worry about that.
I understand we need to worry about it, but I don't think we need to be nasty about it.
Be nasty. I was
All right.
just before it was a problem.
Yeah.
I wanted the
All right.
titles.
No, we're good. We're
It's
moving
up to
on.
you whether you do or not, Ellie, but that's not my point.
We're good, Ellie. We're moving on.
No, I just
We're
wanted.
moving on. Next, okay, so we're talking about the trailer for the UTV. So
No,
the UTV was given, and it's the next Tuesday is when we're having a public hearing whether or not to accept it.
Correct. And
Uh,
it comes with a flatbed trailer already.
Yeah,
This will be a mobile command center trailer that would contain the UTV also.
I don't know, that's a lot of money, and we're now, that's coming. You know what I mean?
So,
Straight from general.
yeah. So straight from general means that it's a general fund, that money could go other places and do other things. Right?
So,
Well, this allows us to expend it on the trail.
yeah, on the trailer.
Yeah, I understand that, but
Yeah.
if we don't use it there,
You can't use it anyplace else.
it stays because it wasn't appropriated to come out.
If you were to take the warrant article out,
Mhm.
it would mean less raise from taxes. It wouldn't be there. If you
Yeah.
leave it in, it means more raise from taxes.
Yeah. Right.
And if it's in there as a warrant article, it can't be moved if you decide not to buy the trailer. You can't move it out of that line and put it into another line.
Right, it stays.
I wish somebody from the fire department was here to talk about this, because.
Yeah.
This
I thought there
this
was
is
gonna-
more than I thought this was gonna be.
Right.
I mean, it's nice that we had the majority of the money donated for the piece of equipment.
It wasn't.
So my thought process is the piece of equipment is sitting in the fire department inside all the time. The only time it's moved is when it's being used, and
Right.
the flatbed seems to be appropriate for that, so. If it was sitting outside and the trailer had to be protected, then it's a whole different story, but.
I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna say no.
I say no.
I just had a quick question. Did you guys accept this vehicle yet? or
No,
not?
next selectmen's meeting, we're having a public hearing, because if you remember the last meeting, we were reminded that it has to be a public hearing.
Okay, yeah.
Was there,
Do they already have a trailer to transport? them?
Yeah, it's on, it's sitting on the bill right now. you can with it.
It's on a flat.
It's an open trailer. Which, I mean, I see the downsides of that. You're transporting it with salt and slush getting all over it, so. I I don't know. I mean, that's a tough one, because if you gotta take that thing out in the middle of the winter and you ride it down the road, by the time you get someplace, you're damn near not even able to ride it. So. If I take my snowmobile on an open trailer, let's revisit it. If I take my snowmobile on an open trailer in the middle of the winter, by the time I get to the trail, it's hardly even able to be used. It's covered with slush, it's frozen solid, and the last thing you want to do is climb onto the seat and plan on going for a ride on it.
It's an emergency there, emergency.
I would like, I'm telling you, I am going to change and I'm going to say yes on that. I think it's an expensive enough and valuable enough piece of equipment where it should be transported properly. So I'm gonna say yes.
I'm still saying no.
Yeah, understood.
I don't have a vote for number 12. Was there a?
So that's the one that we got into the debacle about whether it's the proper phrasing. or not. So if we're gonna wait on some of these to vote, which ones are we waiting on to vote?
So right now, it looks like the two that are written incorrectly is 11 and 12.
Okay,
So is this just a wording change that needs to be? So do we still vote on them then? And then just get the wording?
Yeah,
phrasing
so
differently?
on 12, I had voted no on the skid steer anyways.
And
okay,
I vote no as well.
okay.
Steven, did you have a vote already on 12 for the skid steer?
I thought I said no as well, but
I thought so
Alright.
too. Okay.
Very good.
Article 14, appropriate police cruiser capital reserve, 37,000.
Yes,
I vote yes.
I don't have that one. Can you read that out completely on the copy I have?
To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $37,000 to be added to the previously established police cruiser capital reserve fund. This sum is to come from the unreserved fund balance as of December 31st, 2022, and will require no additional amount to be raised from taxation. Mike?
Just, I know you're on that one, but if you're gonna do language changes, can I give you a couple of these that aren't gonna work?
Can you make a note of them and give it to us all at once at the end? That work? That work for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
works better for me.
Yeah, okay, yep,
All right, so Article 14, I say yes.
I'd say yes.
Yes,
All right, do you have this page at all, Stephen?
No,
I don't. It must have, Ned didn't give it to me yesterday, so it must not have been
I
completed.
was only able to get to those this
Alright.
afternoon.
Article 15, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $85,000 to be added to the previously established fire truck capital reserve fund. This sum is to come from the unreserved fund balance as of December 31st, 2022, and will require no additional amount to be raised from taxation. I vote yes.
I vote yes.
Yes,
Article 16, appropriate to water and sewer capital reserve fund. To see if the town will raise and appropriate the sum of $14,000 to be added to the previously established water and sewer capital reserve fund. This sum to come from the unreserved fund balance as of December 31st. Require no additional amount to be raised from taxation. Oh, yes.
I vote yes.
yes,
All right, so I'm assuming that there is no ambulance capital reserve fund. Is that correct, Ellie?
Not in this town report unless it was created some other way. It's not, if it was created before.
I don't specifically remember the capital reserve fund.
That-
Well, I can't find a water and sewer capital reserve fund either.
I will check with Debbie, the treasurer, tomorrow, and I will.
There's not a water reserve.
I can't find the capital reserve fund. The
Yeah.
water and sewer funds are under the care of the treasurer. And there's just the water and sewer.
Mike,
Those are both enterprise accounts.
Yeah, and you
So-
can see titles and see if they fit. There's a water and sewer, and there's a water and sewer rehab. So I don't know if the rehab would be the, what.
Yeah, but those aren't capital reserve accounts. Those are specifically clearing accounts for enterprise funds.
Well, I could.
Has to be voted as a capital reserve account. Okay, the long and short of it is EMS doesn't have a capital reserve
Yeah.
account,
no, I didn't think so. But
and neither does water and sewer. It has an operating account which doesn't lapse.
All right,
I'll give you the list at the end.
so 17, and 16, you're gonna have to
Yes,
correct.
So appropriate.
so it has the right title, so it goes to the right
Yeah.
fund or enterprise fund.
Okay. So even doesn't have. Those go to the petition.
All right, so. The next one is to appropriate highway equipment capital reserve.
So wait a minute, are we gonna vote on that ambulance one? We're just gonna do it like change.
Well, I mean, we can vote on it. I would vote yes, but we're just gonna make sure that it's written correctly. that's all.
Yes,
So,
It says previously established, but it wasn't previously established.
I'll make sure
right,
that,
that's, the wording will be
Yeah.
changed to, but the principle of the vote and the amount of money moved is
Yeah.
the same,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
to save money for a future purchase of an ambulance.
Yeah. So Stephen, you don't have that one, right? You don't have that in front of
I
you?
do not, but that's, I understand, so I'm saying yes to it.
Okay, I'm a yes.
Yeah, okay. 18, appropriate to highway equipment capital reserve, to see if the town will raise and appropriate the sum of $170,000 to be added to the highway equipment capital reserve. I know we got that.
That one's,
So
Yeah,
that comes from the unreserved fund balance. Yeah, yeah. I vote yes.
I vote yes.
Yes,
All right, so now on Article 19, you have an appropriation for the transfer station special revenue account.
that's
That's correct. So that's what you need to change the other ones too, I would imagine.
right, yeah, I think that's what it's called.
You have to get clearance on DRA on that one too.
yeah,
Yeah,
See if the town will raise and appropriate the sum of $7,500 to be added to the non-lapsing transfer station special revenue account. This sum to come from the unreserved balance.
there's 10,000 in one.
So I vote yes.
So what kind of thing, so again, to learn this, the special revenue account. So. What type of items and when can that be withdrawn? What type of usage does that have? If we run into a bind over there, that's just that, is that what it means by special revenue?
Can we answer it or?
Go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
Sure,
So the revenue account means the revenue, it's funded from revenue that's set up on a formula. The formula happens to be 25% of all the revenue from the sale of recyclables. Okay. That's automatic. DRA gets very fussy, as at least Scott would remember from 3 or 4 years back. You can't just willy-nilly put something into an account unless it fits, and that's why that's gonna have to get clearance from DRA, whether it's allowed or not, because
Yeah.
they were gonna haul our butts into court and do all sorts of things.
Yeah, you can't take
So
anything out until the voters vote.
And you can't take anything out until the voters approve it. And it's supposed to be for equipment, that's what it says.
I think I was 2000. So, 2011, somewhere in there.
Based on the articles that I was copying over from prior reports, it does appear to be an equipment account that was used for equipment and I will say capital equipment, equipment that has
Yeah,
a useful lifespan.
yeah.
Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with it, other than the fact that I don't know if DRA is gonna let you do it.
right. I vote yes.
yes,
Oh,
Article 20 to appropriate to the government buildings capital reserve fund to see if the town will raise and appropriate a sum of $40,000 to be added to government buildings capital reserve fund. This sum to come from the unreserved fund balance. Require no additional amount for raised in taxation. I say yes.
I'm a yes.
yes,
Article 21 to see if the town will raise and appropriate the sum of $40,000 to be added to the bridge capital reserve fund. This sum is to come from the unreserved fund balance. As of December 31st, require no additional amounts to be raised. Yes.
Yes.
yes,
All right, so starting on Article 22, you have those, Stephen?
It's the Grafton,
these are all the petition,
Yeah.
yes,
yes, I have them.
All right, so the first one is for the senior center. I vote no.
Oh, wait, oh, okay.
I vote no.
So the first one I have is, readopt all veterans tax credit, no?
That's the move to the bottom of the list, Stephen. I put
Okay, all right,
those sort of are, I rearranged it after I did it to you. I apologize.
So this one is for the Grafton County senior citizen.
okay. I say yes on that.
Okay. 2 no's, 1 yes. Article 23, West Central Behavioral Health.
Yeah.
I say no.
I say no.
I say no.
Article 24, Wise. I say no.
I say no.
Say yes.
Article 25, Public Health Council by petition. No.
I say no.
No.
Article 26, Tri-County Community. No.
I say no.
I say yes.
Article 27, Advanced Transit. No.
I say no.
Say yes.
Article 28, Mascoma Community Health Center. Say no.
I say no.
No.
Article 29, visiting nurses. No.
I say no.
Yes.
Article 30, the Bridge House, which is something new here.
It arrived over the weekend in the mail slot.
Yeah,
Yeah, no.
I say no.
No.
So Article 31 is to readopt all veterans tax credit. This is to get us in compliance with the new law,
Yeah,
you're saying?
House Bill 1667.
Okay. I'll say yes on that one.
I say yes.
I say yes.
Article 32, to adopt optional property tax exemption for solar energy systems. I say no.
I say yes.
I say yes.
All right, so the only other 3 petition articles are, we've got are from the planning board, they're not petition articles.
They're not petitioners.
They're not money revenue.
Correct. They're not income or expenditure.
Yes,
If you would like, I was able to reach the chief and can speak to the trailer for the UTV. If,
sure,
just that it's more than just the transport piece.
right,
It's,
it's a stage.
it's
Yeah.
providing the generator and a more powerful radio unit so that a lot of times we don't have service with the portables. And with brush fires, missing persons, et cetera, having a place to charge radios and other equipment as needed
Mhm.
is useful and something that the department has needed, and the ability to integrate it with transport for the UTV is beneficial.
Well, I would suggest that he makes it to the budget committee public hearing Thursday. Because they'll be voting on it then.
No, we'll be voting on it tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow night then.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike.
I just
The
thought-
list of the items for that,
Yeah,
you ready?
Yep.
Article 6, you gotta check on that, and make sure that that's gonna fit for turnout gear.
Okay.
Article 16,
Hang on a second. Okay,
You can call it the water and sewer, non-lapsing operating account or something along those lines, and that'd be okay.
Non-lapsing. Well, after non-lapsing, what was it?
Non-lapsing operating account,
Operating.
and Article 17 is
17.
retained within, I don't know how you're gonna word it. The only thing I can say is that the easiest way to get it there is to just appropriate the sum of $50,000 for the benefit of, to fund the emergency medical services, and you can put whatever you want. The text saying it's for capital improvements in the future, but there is no capital reserve account. Because it's a non-lapsing account. You could use a non-lapsing account if you want, that same language, that would be okay.
Non-lapsing account, okay.
Anything else on that?
And check with the IRA on that.
Yeah.
Can you use it, the capital reserve?
You could,
Well, but my point is that, some of these articles, unless they say so, will lapse. Anything going into or coming out of a capital reserve doesn't lapse. So if you create a capital reserve and you don't put the money away, like we did with the police cruisers, we couldn't buy the cruisers because they weren't available. So it wasn't necessary to encumber it because they were special articles, the money was coming out of capital reserve, so it was automatically non-lapsing. So I was just thinking that if it was possible to make it into a capital reserve, that would be, to me, would be the best thing to do, because then you can't spend it anyplace else.
you couldn't start it this year, you'd have to start it next, you could put a petition warrant article and to create a capital reserve for EMS, that would be this year. Then you could create funding for it the following. But you can't do it in a one-step operation.
You couldn't spend it then, because you have to have another article to spend it. Right?
Well, you can't even put the money in it, you would have to show the voters vote to
I see.
create a
You
capital
start,
reserve.
you can, right in the fund.
We did that for Cozy Corners, the example.
Yeah,
All right,
right, that's the one we did for
And
adults.
you also don't have, is that, I don't know if it's on purpose or not, but theoretically, you have money that's supposed to go into the Cozy Corner, into the community building capital reserve. That's what we told the
the money
voters.
from the sale.
But you have to do it with a warrant article, and there isn't one in here.
Oh,
Hasn't that already been done on a warrant article though?
No.
Oh,
we established the fund, but I
No,
don't think
it's just
anybody
done.
said it.
Sales.
Yeah, but it was stated, wasn't the warrant article stated that any proceeds from the sale would go into a fund?
That's true.
That's what it says.
check the language.
Yeah,
Okay, also check it with DRA too, and make
Yeah,
sure.
that is correct.
or-
Because we're-
It was written, because that's what you guys kept saying to me.
The money was gonna go in towards the future development of.
That's, it's something we told the voters in that warrant article we were gonna do.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if it's good enough to get it in without having a specific appropriation.
So we
to
said we were gonna do it, but we didn't actually
do it.
Yeah.
vote to put a warrant article to do it.
It's something set up, you have to.
Interesting.
But the last time we heard from, either her or Gloria was that the account hadn't been set up yet.
Well, it should have been. We had appropriated some of 50.
I mean, this is a draft here.
Yeah, we won't get a big one to sign for, until it's approved.
Okay. Very good.
The dollar that was supposed to go in.
All right, anything else? Anything, Stephen?
I'm good.
I'm good. Ally?
Yeah, I just want to make a point. If you guys decide to make any changes on your recommendations, you need to do it either before or during the
Right.
public hearing. Otherwise, you can't put it in later.
Yeah.
Until the regular session.
Until what?
However,
What time, what time is the public hearing start?
7:30.
So maybe we ought to move quickly over at the office. We're supposed to, we're supposed to publicly notice that.
Yep, it's
anyways.
already noticed.
So we'll meet over at the office to vote on any changes that are made.
Okay, to vote
Say-
on.
What are you saying, Scott?
Yeah, so on Thursday, we'll meet at the office to go over any changes that were made, so they're up to date when we get to the public hearing here.
you can do it during the hearing.
Yeah,
And that's on-
Only if there's any changes, correct?
Correct.
But so are we talking about So we're clear. Are we talking about if we want any changes, or are you talking about the wording?
If anything we have is different, yes,
Yeah,
I see.
otherwise we should be okay with it, sounds like.
Okay.
All right,
So if you come back to us and says DRA says we've got to do such and such, then we need to get together and vote. on it.
yes,
Other than that, it's just the wording differences in there.
and
that should
that
be
we've already voted on, yeah.
correct.
That
Yeah.
makes sense to you, Stephen?
Yep.
Okay,
I do need a. I don't, a vote, but that you agree with the.
Oh, with the default budget?
Yeah.
All right, so we need a motion to accept the default budget.
I put in a motion to
I'll
accept.
make.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah,
Okay, we're good.
What are the dates for next meetings? Third, Wednesday and Thursday?
Yep, there's a meeting tomorrow night and a meeting Thursday night.
7:30 on Thursday, what time is it tomorrow night?
7:30 on tomorrow night.
Both of them here.
Okay.
All right. With that,
I just have 5 minutes of your time in a non-public.
okay,
Please, thank you.
all right, so you're gonna have to coordinate that since Stephen's not on.
Yep, I will.
Yeah, you can call in. We can do it on voice. phone.
Yeah. You should call in.
Okay. You hear that, Stephen?
I do.
I did not. What's going on?
You need to call in.
Yeah, because
On what number?
I'm on the speakerphone, however, if you have his number.
You have a number?
I have a number.
is it your cell number?
Do I have a number? I have a number, 603.
Hang on a minute.
Ben's gonna call you.
Yeah, we'll call you. So basically what happened is Sam asked for 5 minutes of our time in non-public. But we want to make sure that it's not on Zoom, so we're gonna disconnect Zoom completely and you can call in and
Got it.
via phone. But we'll call you on your cell, correct?
Yes, 603.
No, we got you. We got it.
All right. All right.
So we need a motion to go into non-public.
I'll make a motion to go into non-public.